All right, we're still solving absolute value equations, but now we're going to look at solving an absolute value equation with two absolute values. Okay, so we're going to set it up very much the same. So we're going to have 3x minus 4 equals x. Notice now we have two variables here. Or 3x minus 4 equals negative x. Since this is a simple absolute value, we can set it up just like that. All right, let's go ahead and get our variable on one side. So subtract x from both sides. 3 minus 1 is 2x. Bring down the negative 4. X minus x disappears. It goes away, so that means this is now 0. Needs something there, so you have to put a 0. Now we're going to add 4 to both sides. 2x equals 4. Divide by 2. X equals 2 for the first equation. All right, do the same thing here. We're going to add x. So 3 plus 1 is this time is 4x minus 4. Negative x plus x is still 0. So add 4. 4x equals 0 plus 4 is 4. It's a sad looking 4. Okay. All right, so divide both sides by 4. X equals 4 divided by 4 is 1. All right, so we can plug these in to check it. So 2 times 3 is 6. 6 minus 4 is 2. Does 2 equal x, which is 2? Yes. So this one works. Take 1, substitute it in. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. The absolute value of negative 1 is 1. Does 1 equal the absolute value of 1? And the answer is yes. So both of those are solutions. All right, let's look at the next example. This one has an absolute value equal to 2 times the absolute value. So this one's going to be just a little bit different. So we're going to set this up as 4x minus 10 equals, the first one stays the same. We are going to have to distribute the 2 here. So the absolute value, we're going to turn this into parentheses. So 3x plus 1. Okay, so this is the positive equation here. And then we always have the negative as well. So the left side will stay the same. 4x minus 10 equals 2. And now we have to have the negative absolute value. So it's going to be negative 3x and then negative 1. And again, I use brackets, but you could use parentheses again as well. All right, so let's look at the first equation. 4x minus 10 equals 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times 1 is 2. All right, we have a variable on both sides, so let's subtract 4x from both sides. Again, I like to have my variable positive when I can, so I try to always subtract the smallest variable. So sometimes you'll see me go to the left and sometimes to the right with my variable. Just one less step if your variable is already positive. So 6x minus 4x is 2x, and then plus 2. Let's subtract 2. 2x equals negative 10 minus 2 is negative 12. Divide both sides by 2. Negative 12 divided by 2 is negative 6. So that's our first answer. All right, so, or our second equation, 4x minus 10. We have 2 times negative 3x. So it's going to be equal to negative 6x, and 2 times negative 1, which is negative 2. All right, now I've got a negative 6x here, so I'm going to add 6x. This time I'm going the other direction. Oh, accidentally changed my color there. All right, so 4x plus 6x is 10x minus 10 equals negative 2. add 10 to both sides. 10x equals negative 2 plus 10 is 8. Divide by 10. Okay, you can leave that as 8 over 10, or you could reduce that to 4/5, or you could write it as 0.8, but let's change it. I like to reduce when possible, so let's call that x equals 4/5. All right, again, you want to plug that in and check it. I'm going to let you guys do that this time. So take your negative 6, plug it in for x. Take negative 6, plug it in for x. If the left side is equal to the right side, then it is a solution. Okay, I've already checked this, so I'm going to tell you that this one is a solution, but it is good practice to check these. And x equals 4/5. Again, if you plug it in for x on the left side and you plug it in for x on the right side, if the left side equals the right side, this is a true solution. And again, I've checked that. So you check it, make sure, and then you can go on to the next example. All right, last two examples. Identifying extraneous solutions. All right, so remember, words in math. Definitions in math are extremely important. Understanding what the questions are asking can be sometimes 50% of knowing how to answer the question. All right, so the word extraneous contains the prefix extra, which means more than is necessary. Extraneous information is information that is not relevant or essential. Okay, so if you remember, this is one of your definitions. Extraneous solutions are solutions that when you solve the equation, you get the solution, but when you plug it back in and check it, it doesn't work. So again, it's so important to check your answers because an extraneous solution is not relevant. It's not a real solution. So you have to only choose the real solutions. So let's get started. All right, number 12 says absolute value of 2x plus 12 equals 4x. So we're going to set up our two equations. So we're going to have 2x plus 12 equals 4x, or 2x plus 12 equals negative 4x. All right, so I want to solve to get my variable on one side of the equation. So the first thing I'm going to do is subtract 2x from both sides. So I'm going to have 12 equals 2x, divide by 2, x equals 6. All right, so we're going to plug it in to see if it works. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 plus 12 is 24. The absolute value of 24 is 24. 4 times 6 is 24. So this is actually a good solution, okay? All right, so let's look at the second half of the problem. 2x plus 12 equals negative 4x. All right, I like to have my variable positive, so I'm going to add this time. 2x plus 4x is 6x. This gives me a positive variable to work with. Negative 4 plus 4 cancels, so that gives me nothing on that side, or 0. Subtract 12 from both sides and divide by 6. X equals negative 2. All right, again, I need to plug it in to check it. All right, if I plug it in to check it, I'm going to say negative 2 plus 5. Negative 2 plus 5 is 3. The absolute value of 3 is 3. All right, does 3 equal, what is negative 2 plus 11? Negative 2 plus 11 is 9. The absolute value of 9 is 9. So does 3 equal 9? It does not. So this is considered an extraneous solution. Therefore, it is not a solution. So this equation, number 12, the only solution is x equals 6. So on a standardized test, and it's going to ask you what are the solutions to the equation x equals 6 would be the only one that you choose. All right, I'm going to erase this so that we have room to work the other one. All right, for number 13, I'm going to use the whole screen again to work this problem just because it takes a lot of room to work out two problems. So on the left, x plus 5 stays the same, is equal to the first equation, stays exactly the same. The second equation for your absolute value, the left side stays the same, but the right side gets a negative, and everything inside the absolute value gets a negative. So negative x minus 11. All right, now to solve, so we're going to minus x on both sides. 5 equals 11. All right, we know that 5 does not equal 11. All right, so we know that 5 never equals 11. So this would be an extraneous solution because we had x and x here with two different numbers. That would be considered an extraneous solution. So this is not going to work here. All right, so if we set this up for the second equation, x plus 5 equals x plus 11. We have negative on both sides. Now we're going to add x to both sides. So we're going to have 2x plus 5 equals negative 11. Subtract 5. 2x equals negative 11 minus 5 is negative 16. Divide by 2. X equals negative 8. All right, so we need to plug that back in to see if it works. Negative 8 plus 5 equals negative 3. The absolute value of negative 3 is 3. Does that equal negative 8 plus 11? Negative 8 plus 11 is 3. The absolute value of 3 is 3. This works, so negative 8 is a solution. All right, so again, the first one did not work. This one did work when we plugged it in to check it. So again, always make sure that you check your answers to see if they are real solutions or extraneous. Remember, extraneous solutions are not real solutions.